Spearoff and Frank Diaz, and we're going to see what other teammates want to go, and that's our main priority right now. We're going to be doing Daniel Worley's tournament, I think, the end of May also. I'm going to pull Carl Stanley again. I think Dickie's pulling Paul Passmare. I don't know if I said his name right. I'm sorry, Paul. So we're getting ready for both those. I like to do the sit-down nationals in Virginia. My other son, Dario, lives about 2.5 hours from there, and I'd like to make a trip up and possibly go do the sit-downs. But right now it's mainly getting ready for the unifieds.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that, man. I think it'd be really cool if you guys all came to Worlds. It's been a big topic for us on this show, is trying to get better and better teams to go over there. And Turkey's supposed to be, I mean, they got some stuff going on there, but I think it's supposed to be a pretty amazing country. And
we would like to go. My wife is Turkish, and we would like to take our wives. We have some ideas of how we could actually get sponsorship for ourselves and for our other teammates, and work it out where we'd be able to do it and be able to go. So hopefully we could do it. I'm sure Dickie, of course, will pull open. I might pull open at Unifieds, but my thing is just mainly Masters and over 50. So, I mean, I won a Masters Nationals in 03. But I'm strictly going to, if God willing and I'm healthy, I'll stay with Masters, of course, at WAF. I don't, I feel great in the gym. I just think in my head at my age, my inner clock is telling me that there isn't much left at this level. And as far as open, and especially what happened to me in December, but that also had to do with what was going on and what we were talking about earlier at Paul Lothario's Nationals in the PAFs. Which was also a problem from 2015 and then 2016. So like we were talking earlier, now that we got figured out what the problem is, hopefully, I'll be able to pull healthy this year for the first time in 3 years.
Yeah. How about your, your arm wrestling joints, like your elbows, your shoulders, your wrists? How are those treating you these days?
Well, in 2016, I tore 3 rotators in my left shoulder, pulling Daniel Worley at the Florida State wall overalls. And 2 weeks earlier, goofing around Roddy, I tore 3 rotators in the right shoulder. And they're just taking forever to heal, as you know, John, how shoulders can be. Yeah. I didn't train for 6 months, which I've never done in 38 years, took that much time off. And they're still bothering me. Mm-hmm. So... but I'm doing a lot more different things, a lot more therapy, physical therapy for it. And I'm able to pull now because for a year I couldn't practice. It was just killing me. So now a few weeks before the PAFs, I started getting no pain as far as practice goes. And, I'm so osteoarthritic everywhere else because of all the multi-surgeries I've had and the elbows and now the shoulder issues. And I had torn both biceps and have those repaired. Broke the arm in '97, and I've had 7 knee surgeries. So, and now I'm having nerve problems coming from my neck. I have 4 bulging discs and a herniation, and the nerve issues coming down my arm into my hands are just terrible. So, if we could fix all that, hopefully I could do okay at the Unifieds and WAFs. So Tom Brady has a book out about how to beat all that kind of stuff. I think if you drink suntan lotion or pour water on your head or something like that, it's got some kind of miracle cures for pretty much everything. You can always try that out. Ice cream. Pint of ice cream every night before you go to bed is my...
makes everything feel better,
I like that, man.
Makes it feel, especially right before bed, and makes you feel really good in your stomach. And as long as I take a stomach med right before I go to bed, I'm good. So
it all seems to stem right from there, right from the stomach.
Yeah.
I can get behind that program. That program is definitely one I think I might incorporate starting tonight. I like that.
Yes.
So all right. So all that stuff going on. Why keep arm wrestling?
Like probably everybody else said, it's in me. I can't stop. I thought I would never strictly pull masters. I was one of those guys just open anyway, and why pull masters? But I've changed my mind. It's in me 30 years. I love competing. I love the competitiveness of arm wrestling. It's one-on-one brute strength. I love the guys. I love this community of arm wrestlers. They're just a great bunch of people. And I love the competitive one-on-one part of it. And I can't stop it. I love the training for it. It keeps me as young as I possibly could be, keeps me in the gym, keeps me moving, keeps me going. Like my wife said, if he doesn't go to the gym, he'll kill somebody. So, and arm wrestling keeps me in that gym. If I didn't have that sport, I don't know if I'd be in the gym after 38 years of doing it in the gym and 30 years of this sport. I love it.
Mm-hmm. And after, like you said, this year, you probably your last year. Is that what you said before? Are you going to continue to, show up to practice, coach new guys, like that kind of stuff, you think?
Well, I had retired after the 09 Nationals because of all my back issues that I had and which was coming into my hand. And I stopped. I retired for 4 years, and when I came down here, I ran into a amateur puller, and who knew Buddy Griffiths and was training with Buddy, and they were in my area, and they asked me to come to practice and to help. And I'm not the greatest teacher in the world, so I came and helped. And then I had an offer from Devin to pull him in. I think it was the end of 2012 or 2013, and the money was right, and I said, I'll come out and get back into it. And that didn't go well. That didn't work out. Igor had some issues, legal issues. And then I decided to come out. I pulled Wilton Brock, best out of 3, and then went into the walls in 2014. So, yeah, it was 2013, the end of it. And I came out of retirement. So I forgot where I was going, where you went with that question.
Well, yeah, I was just asking.
So I feel at the level of open, I think this is my last year. I don't think I could be at the level that I've been at for quite some time. So I think that's it for this year at that level. After that, I can't stop. I'll stay masters and be at the unifieds and wherever else anybody else wants me.
Yeah, I totally forgot that after 09 you said that was it. I totally forgot that there was that stretch of time in there that you really weren't, in the sport. I forgot.
Yeah, I was practicing. I'd go to practice when I could because of the severity of the back, and I ended up having a 7-hour back surgery in 2011, which compressed the ulnar nerves in both my arms because they didn't rotate me. So I have nerve damage from my elbow down in my left hand on the pinky side. At times I can't even feel half my hand in my pinky, but I still try to stay with it when I could, And then when I came down here to help Buddy Griffiths and Roger Morgan, and the guy's name was Eric Temmie, and the other guys, I got the bug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I forgot, because you've been in Florida for so long now. I'm like, yeah, back in 09 we went to Nationals, you were in New York.
Yeah, January 2011 we came down.
Yeah.
2012, excuse me.
Yeah, I just don't
2012 we came down.
I just don't even think of it anymore. You know what I mean?
No.
For me, it's been a long time.
Yes, when we had our magic car ride to the Nationals.
When we became best friends, Christian, that's how I tell it.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
Yes, we were best friends. See, I had to be nice to you last year because you were the only one that could drive me to the airport in Vegas, so I had to speak to you.
That's right.
Speak to you after Ole decided to totally embarrass me in the world, so the whole world could see me get embarrassed, pulling a little 183-pound kid, and you were there, so you drove me home to the airport.
I wasn't there for that one. I wasn't there.
No, you didn't drive. That was Ole, wasn't that?
Nope.
Or was the Armenian guy?
Armenian. That's when Timmy pulled,
I'm sorry.
That's when Timmy pulled Alexi. When Timmy pulled Vovoda.
Yes, that's right. Okay, right. See, I'm getting old, so I forgot it was a whole nother year before that.
Yeah, that was a fun trip.
Oleg embarrasses everybody, so it doesn't matter what your weight is. I think Pushkar is the only one who's got a recent win on him.
Well, I never felt anything like that kid. Anything like him. ever. His hand is not big. His hand is big on the pinky side, but not on the thumb side. So you could grip his hand very easily. But his side pressure and back pressure, I've pulled everybody, and I'm the only one that pulled everybody in the world. I'm the only one that pulled everybody. I've pulled Dennis, I pulled Pushkar, I pulled everybody. So ain't nothing like that kid. Travis was in the audience, and I said to him, "You don't want to pull this kid." And Travis goes, "You're stupid to even pulling him. I'll never pull that kid." And I felt fine because that night we were all sitting together, and Pushkar said, I can't beat him in practice anymore. I don't know how true that is. But that made me damn feel good.
Yeah, I think you have a pretty good educated guess.
On a whole nother level.
Yeah, a good educated guess. And he's probably not. He's probably telling the truth.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Pushkar doesn't seem like a guy that would lie.
No, he seems like a really straightforward guy. I agree.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a straightforward guy.
Yeah,
I love the idea of you coming to compete in the Masters over WF. Those classes are super tough, so it won't be easy, but having someone like you there is going to be a lot of fun.
Well, thank you. They're very tough. I mean, those guys can still pull opens. If you follow the world, I always follow my competitors. I've been doing it for 30 years, even before I got into sport. And I was just starting arm wrestling. I knew who everybody was. I knew who Dickie Spearoff was when I took him out of retirement after 21 years. Mm-hmm. I know who everybody is that I knew I would eventually pull or was in my class. And if you don't follow your class, and you want to pull on a world level, you're crazy. And those guys could pull it. There are names in there that have won WAFs and still can get right up there. So, no, it's not a cakewalk. You do your best you can.
Exactly. I think you'll have a lot of fun, man. It's so well organized these days, and it really feels like a world level event. I mean, WAL is fun too, but WAF for me, that's the world title. So I think having you come this is going to be even better than the last couple of years. Hopefully, we're doing this. You were talking about sponsorship. We got this little sponsorship program too. They were trying to raise money to help people fly over there because it's expensive, especially going to Turkey. But I really feel like, with some more motivation, especially with the current situation of arm wrestling, that we can motivate more people to go and be part of Team USA. What do you think it is that keeps people away from WAF in general?
Well, just one thing before that. I was at WAF in 2003 and got second, unfortunately. And the way that is with... Unless you experience WAF, you come out with the flag, your country's behind you. It's kind of like the Olympics, of course, on a much smaller level, but the pride that you have in your country for 5 days, it's nothing beats it.
I agree.
Production, organizations could beat it production-wise, but that level of the feeling that you're representing your country, even in arm wrestling, and you have all these countries there, nothing beats it.
I agree.
And that's why I would like to do WAF. The reason why arm wrestling has changed quite a bit and nobody cares about titles, it really started back when 101s matches started here. And that started with... James Rodriguez and Peter Milano's Travis and Jerry Cadaret's tournament,
right?
And being filmed by what's his name?
Gary
on
Roberts.
TV. Gary, I'm sorry, Gary. And Scott McGinnis. That basically killed it because then anybody could pull a one-on-one. Everybody was putting challenge matches at their tournaments and calling them super matches, and you could watch that the next night. So nobody would travel to a tournament after a while. And if I could be so and so who's a national world champion, and I'm really not so much a nobody, but not somebody with a big name, why do I got to go for a world title then? And that kind of was the beginning of people running to nationals and running to WAF, because when I first started, nationals were everything. And you had everybody from Cleve Dean, John Brzezinski on down going to nationals. And nationals were everything. If I gave you the names of guys in 01 and 02, 03, the guys today wouldn't even place top 10. maybe a couple, because you had Cleve and John and Randall, and you just go on and on and on. And you didn't have to, you could bypass all that and have a name in arm wrestling. And I think that's why.
Yeah, I think there
was. I think if you want to, of course, get to the other crux of it is, the big monkey in the room, anabolics.
Sure, that's definitely true. With the that they're catching people now. That's something that,
of course.
You know what I mean? But, sometimes they're like, oh, we do testing and everybody's clean, guys. And it's like, really? Everybody's clean? Maybe your test wasn't catching people, And then all of a sudden these guys start getting popped, and it changes a lot.
It changes last year when they started testing at Unifieds. And unless they could bring the price down and the cost of testing and figure out another way, you're not going to, it's not going to change. You'll still have it's not going to change as far as the level of how many people they're going to catch. But the people out there that we all know or suspect we know won't come because they got their names already. They got their titles. Right, they got everything they need. So they don't need to, and that's okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'd rather see new talent come up.
Right. It could almost work as a recruiting section of the sport. You know what I mean? If you come up through this area, then you can kind of go on to the next part. But the problem is the next part's so volatile. That WAL, UAL, this group of, either one-on-ones or professional, we consider professional tournaments just because they have a lot of money at the end of it. They're so volatile that, the up-and-coming section of the sport has been there forever and always will be, most likely. But the part where you're going to do the one-on-ones and prove yourself from that talent pool, we never know where that is going to be, unfortunately.
Right. Unfortunately. Yeah.
And, too, there's something about super matches where I think some people like them as well because they don't want to deal with 15 other guys.
Right.
They want to pull one guy and, well, what if I'm not good enough to get to him? And that's a weird attitude as well.
Well, some are good at regular tournament, and some are good at best fives and sixes. Angel Cosme, when he was pulling, beat every 176-pound lefty in the country and could not win a national title. And I mean, beat everybody. You were around, John. He beat everybody. And Angel trained with us, and he was a bad man, but could not win a title. So, I mean, he found a niche for himself where he could make some money and not worry about a national title and made a name for himself.
Yep.
Perfect example.
He was one of those guys who wasn't fast, wasn't particularly, you couldn't really nail anything down on Angel that was fantastic, but slow, controlling, and if he stopped that match, you're probably going to lose it. And he would just pick you apart. And his endurance wasn't fantastic. He wasn't particularly strong, but he would beat everybody. I remember when I went to North Carolina for a James tournament in 2009, and he was pulling Matt Harris, which a lot of people were like, who? Which is a sad thing because Matt Harris is a bad man at 165.
Oh, very bad.
Oh, man. And left-handed.
Oh, yeah.
Super good. And a strap puller, a strap master. And so was Angel. And everybody was like, oh, Matt's going to kill him. Angel's good, but Matt's going to kill him. Angel beat him 3-0.
Yep.
And everybody's like, what? And then he gets in the, like you said, he gets, third or fourth at nationals. And it's like, everybody knows how good this guy is. Everybody's scared to death of him. But for some reason, that slow, controlling style, when you have to pull a fresh guy after fresh guy after fresh guy, wasn't so great. But when you pulled one guy, it would just, he would control him, no matter who they were.
Yep.
That's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah, I know. But he's a perfect example of it.
Yep.
Well, I was just thinking about our guest next week is Ron Bath, and I met him in 1988 at AAA Nationals. I think it was in Taunton. And so it's interesting. People like you and him, Norm Devio, are still pulling at a high level. And a lot of us, we aspire to that kind of stuff. But it's just incredible that when you think about the amount of surgeries you've personally undergone, a lot of guys have. I was talking to Norm just last week, Devio, and he said, probably 20 different surgeries and cortisone shots on his elbows and stuff. But like you, he's 77. And he can't give it up. He keeps going and keeps going, regardless of how much pain he's in or what he feels, what the negative aspects of it. He can't give it up. However, he refuses to pull Masters no matter what. He's 77 years old. He refuses to do anything but enter Open.
My only time I'll pull Masters if I go to Nationals and I know I could go to WAF. I will stay Open, but if my goal is to go to WAF and it ain't happening Open, so so you go for the Masters. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, it's just a good plan. That's just a good plan.
It is a good plan. Let me ask you some training questions. Obviously, there's a lot of people interested. Here's one question from Chris Gabi, which is a good jumping off point in general.
Oh, Mr. Gabi, how are you, sir?
Yeah, he wants to know how much focus do you put on lat isolation before a big event?
I was going to guess the lat.
I was waiting for one of those, Chris. I'm not shocked that would come from you. Listen, I'm a licensed clinical massage therapist. You had to know every action and attachment of every muscle in the body. And if I explain it to you at a table or try to explain it to you now, it's kind of difficult. But when you put your elbow on a table, your elbow doesn't pass your body. So you do not contract your lat when you arm wrestle. In my terminology, the word of using your lat is contracting it. You use it to extend your lat to stabilize and keep your body in a position, but you don't use it as far as contracting a muscle like you do your elbow flexors, your pec, your wrist flexors. Those are muscles you contract and use in arm wrestling. You extend your lat in arm wrestling. You don't use it as far as contracting because of where your elbow and how far it goes on the elbow pad. Unless Devin makes a longer elbow pad and comes way past your body, then will you contract your lat in arm wrestling.
Where it like hugs your body and goes behind you?
Yes.
I can see it happening, Christian. Don't put those ideas out on the internet.
And to stop the next question, Devin is God only knows where he's traveling right now or how many sushis he's eating. Yes, you do use your chest in arm wrestling. Mm-hmm. And that's the same thing where you place your elbow on the pad and the actions that you perform in arm wrestling. And you do use your pec. Using means contracting along with your elbow flexors and wrist flexors. So,
I think that was a Northeast board callback, that question.
Yeah,
no, probably. but when you're used to like when I first started bodybuilding and people would say, all right, so if you want to train your outer calf, this is what you have to do, or your inner calves, this is what you do. This, and then 25 years later, you learn anatomy and you realize that there's nothing that makes no sense. But somebody bigger and better than you and who's been in the gym for a longer period of time told you to do it. So it must be true. Yep. So the same thing in arm wrestling. You have people who don't know anything about anatomy, physiology, but they're multi-world champions. So they must know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So and that's where that all comes from, and it's hard to break that tradition. I don't believe in chinning. I believe in doing holds, holding, but to chin, I don't see the reason why you do that, because you go bring an arm wrestling arm to you. You don't go to it. Most of 99% of the time, you bring it to you. So why do an exercise where you're going up to, let's say, a fixed position, when you want to bring that fixed position to you? It's a waste. So, but to do holds for time, damn straight, you better be doing those. Mm-hmm. But there is no reason to do chin-ups.
How about a pegboard, 90-degree pegboard?
For what?
Same thing. Do you think like doing the pegboards with a 90-degree hold is useful?
If you're holding. To me, the most important thing in arm wrestling is holds, and you do holds for time. and you increase that time every few weeks. Holds is everything. That's why you have guys that are not heavily muscled, like a Devin or an Ivan Mashushenko, or other guys that have no muscle. Devin is muscular. I'm not saying he's not muscular. I'm talking about big muscle size, where everything is holds. If there's one thing to do in arm wrestling besides practice arm wrestling, would be to do holds. And when I trained with Marcio Barbosa and Paul Walther, Michael Libretto, and Bob Solwick for years, all we did was start off with holds. And we would work up to 2.5 minutes each hold. So I would do 10 movements for 2.5 minutes just before we would start practicing on Marcio Barbosa, and do that for years. And my endurance went through the roof.
Sure.
And I still do holds now. I can't touch Dickie Spearoff. He's the strongest guy I've ever pulled in arm wrestling besides Ole. And I could catch him at the bottom and hold him forever. But that's just from holds. And to me, holds are everything.
We've heard that from quite a few people. And I think when you say doing holds, do you find them, I mean, what do you think is the most effective use of it? People do all kinds of various, basically manipulating different kinds of curls and holding in different positions. Do you feel like, the doing it on an arm wrestling table is more useful, or are there specific positions that you like better than others?
I think doing it on the table is doing it on the arm table, I think is more important than doing it in the gym. But when you're in the gym, you do them. Then it's not going to hurt you. It's just going to enhance you and get you better. But everything is on the table. So your angles and how you do it is going to be how you arm wrestle.
Right.
So that's where you do them first. But I do them also in the gym. I do them both. I train my arm every day. I train my arm twice a week with weights, and I train my arm every day, or do something for my arm, or wrist flexors, not your hand, and I do that every day, and I do that in my car, and I do holds in my car with bands on the handle of my car on my door. And I do other stuff too that I do, that tricks that I learned from Johnny Walker that I do in the gym, or from Dave Patton with a water bottle that I do, and everybody laughs. And then when I tell them Dave Patton showed me how to do it, then they shut up.
Then they go get a water bottle, huh?
Yeah, then they get a water bottle and they go, "Is this the way you do it?"
Let me ask you this question, Christian. When you were speaking of anatomy earlier, when you think of the position of your shoulder, when it's higher, your lats are not engaged even as a holding muscle, and when they're lower, they are more engaged. Do you feel like that's something that's important to think about? I
don't know. It all depends on your position and how you arm wrestle. Your shoulder is an inflection, so it doesn't matter. It's the position of where it is as far as the scapula, the angle where your scapula is. But that's just where you're comfortable. I don't know if that really matters.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've been playing around with both. I mean, like what you were just saying about the lat is very interesting to me, because, I feel stronger in certain positions when I drop my elbow, but it also feels less comfortable. So it's a question of whether the gain in holding power is worth it when I lose some mobility.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it might have more to do with your hand position than anything too.
It might.
After 30 years, I'm still learning. I still am figuring things out. I watch guys how they train and power lifters and Olympic lifters, and I incorporate it because how it will pertain to what we do. And even arm wrestlers today, who have not as much experience as me, I will see something and that will catch my eye, and you can incorporate it and figure out damn, I wish I did this 30 years ago. It took me, I started pulling Travis in 99, and in 2015 at the regionals, I finally figured him out. Now, that don't mean I'm going to beat him, but I figured him out in the hand, which I never did. And it was an aha moment. And when I went into the finals in 2015, I was never more relaxed in my life. and I knew I'd pulling him, but I knew I figured him out in the hand. That doesn't mean he's not going to crush me, but I finally was like, oh my God, how many years later did this have to happen now? Why couldn't it happen years ago when we were pulling a couple times a year, going back and forth at nationals? You know, so you're constantly learning.
Yeah, I've had some of those moments, you know, maybe a little, not such a huge deal, but like, you know, like what I know now about how to stay healthy, like how to keep my joints healthier and all that kind of stuff. I wish I would have known that, you know, my first year or two when you're really doing all that initial conditioning and all that damaging and healing and damaging and healing, and then understanding how to actually heal that the correct way.
Yeah, that too, but also there are new techniques that are coming out too that are helping the body. You have the cryotherapies. I just saw something on YouTube last night, and I'm tracking people down where it's called MUA, manipulation under anesthesia. And if you look at it on YouTube, you are so limber under anesthesia, and all they're doing is stretching, working, and adjusting you and breaking up all the adhesions and scar tissue. And it looks like the most amazing thing, especially for me, where I have so much limited range of motion everywhere, that and it takes insurance, and it actually takes my insurance.
Oh, really?
So there are more things that are coming out as, you know, years go by that will help us with our bodies, our injuries, you know, our joints.
Yeah, and you know, like, it's funny you bring up the manipulation under anesthesia, because they didn't think my shoulder was all that bad going into surgery. They're like, we see damage, but you know, the MRIs, they kind of lie sometimes. We won't really know until we get in there. Well, once they put me out, they went, oh my God, your shoulder's terrible, because the rotator cuff muscles were very healthy. So they were really doing a good job of stabilizing everything. And then when I was out cold, they weren't doing their jobs anymore. And they woke when I woke up, they were like, dude, that was a nightmare in there. We're so sorry. Because like all the things I was complaining about, they were going, yeah, we're not really seeing half of that. You know, we see some of it, but we're not seeing all of it. And then when they put me out, they said, okay, we see it all now. Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
I went to a guy down here who does the Dolphins. His name is Zajac, Dr. Zajac, head of shoulders down in Miami, and he does all the teams. And I can't sleep at night. I can't move. I'm dying. I'm in pain. And I show him my MRIs, and he's like, yeah, you don't need surgery. Yeah, you don't need. I'm like, I'm dying. I'm dying. I can't move. I can't do anything. It's like, I'll give you a shot, but you don't need it. You're not a candidate for this. You're not a candidate for that. And I'm thinking to myself, how much more pain do I have to be in to be a candidate? I can't even imagine.
No, I hear you.
You know, and like, probably the same thing. There goes my wife. Hi, Mama. My wife's hearing impaired, as you know, yeah. John. So she does not know. If you heard a bunch of noise, she does not know that she was making noise down here. And
it's fine.
So.
But yeah, no, I hear you. Because
I had no idea that we could see her.
Yeah, I know, because you know, said, man, I'm in pain. Because you know what people maybe not realize that don't have any injuries like that is that, you know, the sleep. Man, sometimes it's hard to sleep for more than 45 minutes at a time. You know. Oh
my God, the shoulders. With all the problems I've had, it was nothing like the shoulders, and they're just tears.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Now you hear one of my cats meowing, probably.
Oh, there's usually a
family
cat that
show,
walks in front of me. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff going on in this show. It's, you know, you wouldn't believe the kind of things that have happened, including. I think we had
house. He probably had cows walking through his living room.
We had Michael Solaris. He was on. He had one of his kids climb on his head for half the show.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, that's Michael. You know,
it was fun.
Yeah,
it was awesome.
I love him.
Yep,
I know, it was awesome.
I've roomed with him and Travis together. We've roomed. God, I don't know how many times we spent. We were in the unified the worlds together for 5 days. Living with them too for 5 days. I would live with them 2 or 3 days the most, but after I think it was 5 days. Oh my God! We jumped in Michael's car. He slept 15 hours while Travis drove in a snowstorm. And I'm saying, can you please pull over? We're going to die. And Travis like, we will make it. Screaming, we will make it. I'm going, we could get there tomorrow. We have 5 more days to pull. I don't care. We're making it. And Solaris slept through the whole thing as usual. we were in a hotel in '01 at the Harley Pool, which was one of the greatest shows ever.
Yeah.
Michael Bowling's Harley Pools. They're nothing like the Harley Pools. And Michael slept in the jacuzzi. He slept in a jacuzzi for 3 days.
That's crazy.
He was a maniac. Anyway, love Michael.
Yeah.
Tell me about Travis more. I mean, I've watched a lot of matches you guys have had, and they always seem very animated. What is your relationship like with him on and off the table?
It's all a fake. Travis and I, but besides the guys I train with, obviously, you know the Paul Walters and Marcios and Tims, and well, not that I train with Tim, but Tim worked for me, Pete worked for me, and other guys, the guys down here and stuff. I'm just very, very close with Travis. We've always been very close. We started pulling each other in '99. He saw me break my arm in '97. I followed him since then, '96. When he pulled 98, when he was pulling 98s, and just being that we were in each other's class, we got very close. On the table, that's for real. We've rooming together. In the 04 Unifieds that were on ESPN, and it was being filmed by Bessie and Savan pulling John, which started in 03 at the Unifieds. I was interviewed first, and I said, wait until you see what I said about you. And he goes, yeah, they're interviewing me tomorrow. Wait until you see what I say about you. And that's how it always was with us. It was mainly more a setup, the BS. But once we put the arm on the table, I told him, you act like an idiot. I'm hitting you. I'm just going to hit you. And there was a part in the 04 Unifieds where he puts my hand to his nose, and Savan made a stupid comment, and I told him, I said, watch yourself. And he put his hand to my hand to his nose, and he goes, I know. And you see us go off to the side, and there was a break in the film because I told him, watch yourself. But the competitiveness is the way it is on the table, but off the table, we're best of friends. I love the guy. We're very close.
I like watching you guys pull.
To me, well, I got the old, I have no hand. I'm known for having no hand because of Travis. And then years later, I figured out it was the way I pull. Yeah, you're going to take my hand. When you slide your elbow across the table, across the elbow pad, your hand is going to go underneath. You watch Todd Hutchins do that with Alan Ford at UAL, where his hand is taken. His hand ain't taken. He did it himself. So when you learn these things years later, where you don't have to hit and you're going under, and where you catch and hold and other things, you realize, because everybody has a strong hand, you risk curling crazy amounts of weight. You don't have a weak hand. It's how you position it and how you pull that makes your hand appear to be weak. Are there guys that have a stronger hand than yours and will take it? Of course. But the majority of the time is how you're pulling, which is going to flop your hand. And I didn't learn that 2 years later until him and I stopped pulling each other. I retired and he kept going, So,
Yeah, I think
our matches were pretty cool, pretty good. There's probably a bunch out there that nobody really seen that if they saw on tape would be better than what's out there.
Yeah. Oh, they're a blast. I love watching them, man. And there's a lot of technique there, too. It seems like you do really well with Travis until he's able to escape to the straps.
I beat him in the straps, but no, he'll escape. When I came back in 2015, 3 out of the 4 times he pulled, we hooked. Whether he hooked me or I hooked him, we got into the spot where I wanted to be, but I couldn't beat him, but that's where I wanted to be. So that made me happy. Just getting sick at the finals in 2015 just ruined everything. But like I said, that don't mean he's not going to flash me and beat me. But at least I know what to do if that ever came up again. Whether or not I could stop it, I doubt it.
Sure.
But you know, I finally learned in my head I could do it. But he regardless of how much he cheats, and regardless the crap he pulls, he's a bad man on that table. I just wish that he would have stayed in the world arena left-handed and pulled all the guys. I mean, he went to Slotty, I think, in 2012, left-handed, and didn't do well at all, which surprised me. But you know, ain't nobody going to beat him left, especially in the best of 5 or 6. Nobody will ever beat him left-handed.
John, can you check the video feed while we're talking? Sure. A couple people say they're having trouble with it. What was I going to say? I just lost my train of thought. Yeah, I talked to Travis about that, and he said, you know, I already won 2 world titles, or I already won a world title. What's the point in going back? But I agree with you. I would love to see him pull Pushkar and Oleg and those guys. You know, I mean, I just feel like he's such a good strategist in terms of the mental aspects as well. I mean, you saw how he freaked out Semerenko in that crazy match that happened a few years back. And I just think that
Go ahead, I apologize.
No, it's all right. I would like to see him pull Pushkar and Oleg, and I keep asking him if he's ever going to do it. He doesn't really answer me, but hopefully one day we'll see it.
Well, you saw what Devin did to Pushkar lefty. Travis will do it too. And the whole thing with Sermenyanko, I pulled Sermenyanko in 08. Sermenyanko was the worst. Sermenyanko makes Travis look like the biggest non-cheater in the world. Sermenyanko is a piece of dirt on a table. I will never say anything good about him on a table. He is the worst. And when I saw that match being set up, I just knew which way it was going to go, though, because Travis is terrible cheater, and Sermenyanko makes him look like a saint on a table, and I can't stand that guy. So I knew it would eventually go that way. Mm-hmm. He's a horrible guy, Sermenyanko.
Is it because of the way he pulls, or something else besides that?
No, he's just a cheat. He just is a good cheat. He'll push your elbow, push you off the table in the front. He'll pull you to you like you're giving side pressure. He'll get you in a losing position. He'll get you with a loss, and then he'll get you to get a warning. And you know, he'll start like this on the table. You know, and then, well, like if you see him pulling John, me yell at Travis, don't do that. Travis was pulling me, so it made me look like I was loading up with side pressure. Mm-hmm. And I had a warning and a foul on with Travis, and he was doing it. That's what I yelled at him, and he beat me one match, I beat him, and then he beat me doing that. Mm-hmm. And that's when you see me yelling at him. Well, Sermenyanko does the same crap and does more stuff. And watch him pull. He's a big baby and he's a cheat.
I think that's funny.
Juice head that he is.
Yeah, oh my God, he's on everything that there is. The guy
looks like he's about to pop. You pull 176s and you look like that, and you know.
That's crazy. Here's another question for you about from someone who's a new puller asking what kind of advice do you give brand new pullers?
You got to practice. You got to get table time. Everything else matters, of course, and it helps, but you got to arm wrestle. To get good at doing something, you have to do it. So you can lift all you want, you can mimic arm wrestling all you want. If you don't get on that table and practice arm wrestling, because that's what you're doing, it's not going to matter. Mm-hmm. So you got to get table time, find a place to go. If you're serious about arm wrestling and want to do it at a level where you want to be, you will travel, you will make the time, you will do it if that's what you want.
Yeah, consistency.
You need table time. Table time's everything.
Yeah, keep showing up, keep training. It's consistency is huge. You know what you gain in the sport when you're on the table, even practicing for, when you're brand new, 6 months to a year, and then if you step away for a couple months and then you come back, you're gonna feel like you're gonna feel terrible. Just keep consistent. Show up to practice.
Yeah. We had a guy, I mentioned him earlier, it was the 4 of us that trained together, Marcio, Paul Walther, Mike Libretto, Bob Solik. Mike Libretto, we would lump up, and he came back every week, and we destroyed that guy every week. And he got first and second, right-handed, left-handed amateur at the O2 Harley pull, which was no easy feat.
No, that was a hard class.
And then he went back the next Saturday, and we beat the snot out of him again. But he damn well wasn't giving up, and that's what you got to do, because his next step would have been going up. But he had just so many injuries, and still would pull with all these injuries. He just couldn't take it anymore because of them, and he had to stop. But he's a typical guy that will keep showing and showing, and the work pays off.
I know when I started at the dungeon, it was.
I was about to tell your story for you.
Maybe 3 or 4 years before I got a win at anybody at the dungeon.
Of course,
those guys would beat the hell out of me.
I never practiced till March '97, and I competed very little. And Jason Vale called me up, and he goes, "There's this tournament at a nightclub." And I said, "Jason, I don't arm wrestle anymore, right-handed. I can't move my arm, and I pull left-handed. I did a couple of tournaments." He goes, "Come to practice. I'll fix your right arm." He called everybody up under the sun and goes, "I got this huge guy coming to practice." And I never even arm wrestled. I never practiced, and everybody showed up. Paul Walther, everybody gets all these phone calls. This is big guy coming. And dude, I never beat Paul Walther or Marcio in the practice. Well, I would beat Marcio every now and then. I never beat Paul Walther lefty ever. I think maybe once. And I get my ass handed to me too. But I would go to National and win. I'd go to Harley Pull and win. I go Reno Reunion win. I go to WAF and get second. And I go to practice the next week, and they would beat the snot out of me. Same thing as Mike Libretto. But you know what you got to do.
That's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. I totally agree with that statement. I think it's, sometimes people get stuck in the practice mentality. They view it as a small tournament, and they're worried about who's going to beat them, who's going to make them look bad in practice, and it's a huge detriment to themselves, because that's where you do all the building down and breaking up and all that kind of stuff. And if you don't do it to yourself and beat yourself up a lot in practice, then you can never do well in tournaments.
That's right. I wanted to be a world champion, and I came close. I won World Wrist Wrestling Championships, but I had second in Zloty. I got some good titles, and I beat all the best, and except for Ryan Espy. I hate you, Ryan Espy. You make the effort to do what you want to do. You make that effort, and you find the time. I go back again at Dickie Spearoff, 21 years off from arm wrestling. He comes back, and he lost to 2 people. And he trains at 3 o'clock in the morning and 12 o'clock in the afternoon. You find the time and he became a world bench press champion. You find the time. You want it, you will find the time. There are no excuses. He owns a business. He works full time, and he gets up trains at 3 in the morning. So you want to, you do it. If you talk the talk and you don't walk the walk, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, and it's some of it is an attitude issue with how people view practice and how they view having a team and teammates and all that stuff. Because I just had this conversation last night at training myself, where we were talking about people showing up to practice or not showing up to practice. And there's a difference, and it's night and day between, if I don't show up to practice, people will call me, because it's the only way I don't show up to practice is if I told you at least a couple days in advance, hey, I can't make it. I got a doctor's thing. I got this and that. For a lot of people, it's a surprise if they show up. For me, it would be a shock if I didn't. The dungeon guys, exactly. I would tell those guys, hey, I got my brother's wedding in 2 weeks. I'm not going to be here. I got a phone call at my brother's wedding. Hey, why aren't you here? Sure. Why aren't you here? Are you dead? We think you're something's got to be wrong. I'm at my brother's wedding. Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry about that. See you next weekend. But it was weird to have me not show up at practice. And, there's this attitude where it's like, if you're not going to show up to practice, I better get a phone call. And some people look at you like, what? And that's a weird attitude if you want to do something good in any sport, really.
Yeah, well, we push our amateurs and novice guys the hardest. What we do in our group chats, If they oh my God, we torture the hell out of them. You know, we want them, and those guys are just as important as anybody else on the team, and they're the ones that you know you want to show up, that need to show up. Yeah. I remember I went to one practice, just me and Roger Morgan, and my God, the post I made on Facebook with just me and Roger in a picture together, and I ripped into every teammate I had. Because I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear your bullshit excuse, and I don't want to hear why you lost, and I don't want to hear, you know, you don't come, this is what's going to happen to you. Mm-hmm. You know, it's the most important thing, and I firmly believe in a team, and teammates are the most important thing. You know, the way we help each other, you know, at practice and at tournaments is everything.
Yeah, even how to deal with adversity. You know, you know, let your teammates bust your balls and hurt your feelings and all that kind of stuff, because there's somebody's going to do it for real on that table, and if you're not used to how that feels, you're going to crumble really quick.
That's right.
There was nobody meaner than Tim Bresnan at practice. So whatever happened on a table across, you know, in a tournament, it was like, seriously, dude.
Yeah, I could imagine how he would be at practice.
Mm-hmm.
Full of compliments, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I've gotten many of his compliments.
I think,
especially traveling to Zloty with him and living with him.
Oh, God, yeah.
We should do an entire show about those trips that you've had. It seems like you've had a lot of epic.
Oh, my God. Oh my God, Mike Solaris, man. I always made the plans. So if I make the hotel plans, I get a bed.
Yeah.
So Travis and Mike, however they worked out the other bed, I don't care. But you want to make the travel plans, then you get a bed. So who would be on a box spring? Who would be on a mattress? Or who would get a floor? Or Bob Sawick? Why do I always have to get the cot? Because you're 176 pounds and Paul is pulling 42s and I'm pulling supers, you know, and then the next night somebody would be pulling and I wouldn't, so I would take, you know, the floor of the cot, and Engin Terzi on the floor for 3 days at Ottawa, you know, with the thing where you put the luggage rack.
Yeah.
He would be asleep. They'd take that little stand, that little cubby thing with a blanket, and he'd be in there. We did that in the Harley pool with him. Michael bowling by the door because there was no space. And they just go on. Everybody's got the stories. Yeah. We all got those.
The best part of the sport.
In Buffalo, I think it was 07 AAAs. I went there after a year. I tore my bicep reattached, what I shouldn't do because I reheard it the first match with Robert Bishop. I stopped at third place. And Merlene slept in my bed with me. Oh, but you gonna sleep with your head down there, honey. And because it was gonna be me and Angel, because something with the cot near the door, but who had to get up earlier. So I ended up sleeping with Merlene. Her feet are on my head. My feet are on her head. And, we all got them. Mm-hmm. We all got. I wish that girl would pull. My God,
she was
the most unbelievable female puller in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever pull Engin, by the way?
No.
Yeah, man, he's tough. He pulls Masters Division and Open every year at Worlds.
No, he never came to a practice.
Uh-huh.
So no, I pulled Nazi Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
From Turkey. I never knew who he was. He showed up at Jason's. I pulled, oh my God, Dursun Under from Turkey. I had no idea who he was. He showed up at Jason's.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even begin to think of the names of foreign guys that came to practices that I'm like, holy crap, these guys are the names you hear. But no, Engin never came, even though he lived in Brooklyn for a period of time. I was never at a practice with him.
Mm-hmm. Let me see here. I'm trying to make sure I got all these questions in. Okay, here's one from Ryan Bowen. Do you have anybody in mind for a super match this year?
Who, myself? Or people?
Yeah, no.
Oh, God. Do you have anybody in mind for a super match? I'm like, me? No. Oh, yeah. He's talking about other people.
No, he means
obviously,
you.
Right?
He wants to know who you'd like to play. Yeah, he means you. Yep.
I just want to get a practice. No. Not after what happened with Ole. No. I'm pulling Carl Stanley in May. I think it's May 29th. What happened in me in December 9th with the same medical issues, and I lost to Daryl Oliver, who's a massive friggin' guy, and a Christian, oh my God, not Christian Keeper. Oh my God, I'm sorry, Christian. Was very hard on me. So I want to pull them, and of course I want to pull Carl. That's it, and I just want to get ready for Unifieds. I think my time has passed for super and challenge matches.
I hear you. It's fair enough. We got some videos we want to watch with you before we let you go. I know we kept you on here an hour already, but we like to watch a couple arm wrestling videos with everybody. So maybe you can watch them with us, and you can talk us through these matches. Tell us.
Sure.
So let's see what we got first here.
Can you guys see that?
Oh, great. They're of me?
Yeah, of you.
Oh, really?
We do it to everybody, so don't feel bad.
Thank you, God.
You said you were honored.
Could I get any older looking? My wife was there for this.
Oh, yeah?
There she is in the back with the camera up. My wife has been. There's Daryl in the back too.
Yeah, that's a nice win.
My wife was at the O2 Niagara Falls, and then didn't come to another tournament till the Wall Finals in 2015. And when she saw the EMS said, "I think you had a heart attack," she went nuts, and she goes, "I'll never go to another tournament again."
Yeah, you know, and Timmy's wife's the same way, because she watched him break his arm, and she's like, "I'm never watching you arm wrestle again."
Yeah.
A little slight elbow power there.
Yeah, Carl's a strong mother effer, man.
Yeah.
And he's a great guy. And I wish he could come down to. He's coming down in February to practice with us, and he learns a lot. And I think he's one of those guys that are just right there. Mm-hmm. You know that he can make that next step up. And I think he has the confidence to do that now. But he's a bad. People don't realize it's all up here in his head that messes with him. If he can control in his head, he's very tough. Very tough.
Yeah, and it looked like Carl likes to press. He's got a very good press, and it looked like to me, just from pulling you there, that you were grabbing him so low and really initiating so much side pressure that you really couldn't get behind where he wanted to get.
Yeah, well, because I've practiced with him so many times, and
right.
I know which way he's going. And unfortunately, with Carl has one way of going. Although he's learning and getting better with that, but he also has a press. Well, I knew he would press me because you feel where his power goes.
Sure.
But a lot of times where his press is, if you don't know it, he doesn't telegraph it. So he can get that in and sneak it in on somebody, and who's a really big name and beat him. I just know the way he pulls and could stop him, but he's just getting stronger and stronger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very tough. He's got every tool he needs. Just needs to sharpen him a bit.
Yeah, and it's another kid that's got a lot going on in life, and a lot of family going on, and a lot of stuff personally, and he lives about an hour and a half or 2 hours away from us, so it's difficult to get down, and because he only practices with Gene Spiker and another guy, so I don't think he practices with oh my God, what is King's first name? Sorry about that, bro. Todd King. I don't think they practice anymore, but if he could get down more, we'd love to help him.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. We got another match, or are we doing two matches?
Really? Do you really want to show another one? Which one?
It's kind of our responsibility.
Thank you.
I tried to stop sharing my screen with you, Christian, because I knew I tried to get you out of it, but Josh is pushing.
Yeah. I like watching him pull, man. I can't help it.
At least you're showing me win. At least,
of course.
That's Wilton. I love Wilton. That is a strong, bad man right there.
Yep.
Very strong, bad man. That's a bad man. And that's just strong, raw power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he knew what I was going to do to him, so I changed it up on him and screwed him in the head.
Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see.
But he's a He's upstate Florida, up near Alabama.
I don't think people realize how big he is until they stand next to him. You know what I mean?
Well, he don't look big, like you said, until you get right up next to him.
Yeah, and he is a big man. He just never looks like it because he doesn't dress that way. He doesn't look that way, but he is huge.
He hit me in 2015. I pulled him in the regionals, and he's not very fast, and he had me over so quick. It took everything I had to beat him. That day. Here I just was controlling him. I was able to control him because I knew what he was going to do. But if he hits you, you're in a damn trouble. I heard he was, I don't know how true it is. I don't know if he's doing strongman. And I think he had another child. So he's another guy that, arm wrestling takes a back seat. And there's some more important stuff. I just like seeing him come out at wall. He was doing great at wall.
Yeah, he was. He was doing very well.
Have you pulled Carteret?
Only in practice.
Yeah, okay.
Never in a tournament. Mm-hmm. I pulled him years ago in a practice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that'll be a fun match to watch.
Well,
Jerry can't pull left-handed.
I was just gonna say Jerry likes his right a lot, but he looked pretty good with Mike Gould, though.
He did.
He's strong. His left is strong as crap, though.
Yeah.
But he still can't pull left. Sorry, Jerry. I love you.
All right. So we kept you on here an hour and 13 minutes. So my fault for keeping you on an extra 5 minutes. But you should check out the comments. A lot of people said hey and what's up and hello and all that kind of stuff. So you can.
Oh, that's very nice. Well, I want to thank you guys for having me on finally.
It was our pleasure, man. It was our pleasure. Yeah. Next time we'll do it. We'll do it sooner next time. After you win a gold medal at WAF, we'll talk again.
Thank you. I appreciate that and hope I will. Thank you very much for everything.
Maybe we'll have you on next Friday. You know what I mean?
I'll be around.
Sounds good.
Well, Christian, my good friend, it was really good, nice talking to you. I'm glad to hear that things are, getting better for you, and I'm really glad to hear that you're gonna make a run for it this year. Really glad to hear about it.
Hopefully, I'll see you.
Thank you very much, John. It was nice meeting you, Joshua. Take care. Thank you again for the opportunity.
You got it, man.
Opportunity of a lifetime. Yeah,
yes, lifetime.
Huge for us.
Yes.
All right, brother.
Take care now.
Later.
All right, take care. Now we have more show coming up here because we got Tony coming on while you're connected with him. I want to tell everybody, donate, please, to the Team USA support thing. Bob Brown, you may have noticed, has offered to match up to $5,000. So if you guys can get up to $5,000, he'll put in another $5,000, and that's $10,000 that would potentially be going to support USA pullers going over to WAF, which you were just talking about tonight. $25 gets you good stuff. So you don't have to give hundreds of dollars, and you may end up benefiting from it because you might get your $25 back if you come to USAF Nationals and qualify. But it's getting up there. What do we have? We're over $2,000 now, right?
We're at about 1,700 and change, so we're just right there. But that's all right.
Almost $2,000. Yeah, so that means Bob Brown will be giving another 1,700 and change. So if you guys can get that number up a little bit, that would be awesome. Again, as we've said numerous times, even PayPal takes a little tiny piece, but everything else is going 100% to the pullers.
Yes.
And obviously Denise and Leonard are donating T-shirts, and AAA, USAF, NAP, USAA, PAF. All the big guys and almost all the local promoters that you guys know, Steve Pettis, Nate Gagnon, Luke, all kinds of people all over the place are accepting the cards you get for donating. So actually, you may easily get your $25 back if you compete a lot, which hopefully you will.
Yeah, so basically if you just go to the handcontrolworldwide.com, right on the front page, Team USA Athlete Sponsorship Program, everything you need to know is there. So if there's any questions or anything, there's a entire questions section of the site. It'll answer every one of your questions. Bob Brown's senior class bonus is there, fully explained. You can see the account balance and who's contributed, how much they've contributed, and everything. You can see the entire balance, the list of promoters, everything. Everything is completely public. It's pretty much as simple as it sounds. Whoever competes at WAF is going to get a check. It's pretty much that simple. Bob's is a little less simple, but Bob's is super cool. But from me and Josh's standpoint, if you are a part of Team USA, we don't care if you're a junior, master, doesn't matter. You're going to get a chunk of the money. So, and it's not just donations; you get something out of it too. So it's
exactly
nice, you know.
So please donate.
Yeah, let's find Tony here.
Tony,
you got a new account, so
everybody keeps changing up accounts on us, man. It's almost like they don't want us calling them at random hours. Maybe we should stop doing that.
Seriously.
Nah,
it's more ringing.
Fun. It's ringing.
It's ringing.
That's a positive sign.
And Tony Kitowski's a honor of the punch cards, so.
There we go. Even better.
Speaking of,
exactly.
Come on, Tony, answer.
Answer the phone.
Ruining the production of our show.
Yeah, I'm here.
There it is.
Oh, he's there. He's there. Now, all we need now is video.
Yeah, tap that little camera.
Tap the camera button. I hear him.
Can you guys see me at all?
Not yet. You got a little camera button on your phone?
This is the stuff that happens before the show, which is why we go on a few minutes later. You guys are welcome to like the pre-show. This is what we do every time.
Welcome to our podcasting life.
Either the guest or one of us screws something up every single time. That's why we're always late. So yeah, this might be like a little camera button.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a little camera button on my phone. It's not there.
Can you touch the screen?
I got a picture, but I can't even barely hear you. I don't know what's going on here.
Sometimes if you tap the screen, it'll show up. If not, we can try calling you back.
Oh.
Did that work?
I think so. There it is.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, can you see me now?
We can see you, Tony.
See you.
Right.
Yeah, in business.
Mr. Grant said tap your screen, and I had to listen to look what happened.
So how you doing, man? Uh-oh.
Limited reading, playing cards with the family. Can't
I
have
see.
any better night than that.
I see the WAL shirt.
I do, yeah. I can't complain about the WAL. I know some people don't like them, but I can't. They've been very well to me. You know,
what do you think about the rumors that they're coming back?
Fortunately, by the league, so.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard stories, and I think very highly of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like them, whether you don't, it's done tremendous things for the sports.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it, whether you're a video photographer, whatever, it brings people around the world, mainly around this country, to see the sport. And as you know, I'm a promoter.
Mm-hmm.
And before the WAL was around, we were getting 30, 40 people at a tournament, all the way up to my state last year, which had well over 500 in and out throughout the entire day. So I mean, no matter what anybody says, the WAL, also the UAL in the past, has also boosted the sport. The Game of Arms has boosted the sport to a whole new level. So if the WAL wants to come back, fantastic. I'm going to support that all I can. And if I'm a part of it, great. If not, either way, it's still going to be great for the sport. So to me, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm on top or if I'm on the bottom or if I'm not even involved, it doesn't matter to me. It's good for the sport.
That's a good way to look at it. Speaking of being a promoter, tell us about the big events you have coming up.
Yeah, so I got a tournament coming up here, which is my state. It's my big one every year. As I mentioned last year, we had just over 500 people coming in and out of that place. It's a capacity of just over 400, so the place was packed.
Mm-hmm.
But we had people going in and out throughout the entire day. But the place is absolutely packed. We take it to the next level. We got a DJ. We got awesome awards. Last year we gave out pure stainless steel hammers. We got them for a killer deal because we know a lot of people here in the state. But if you were to make them or buy them, I should say, retail, they'd probably go $300-400 a piece.
Mm-hmm.
We gave them away last year, probably a good $4,000 worth of hardware. This year we're getting pure stainless steel 12 by 12 inch plaques. That's got laser etched in it.
Cool.
So they're going to be badass, purely badass. And and we got events going on there, a couple of small super matches. we do got one superstar showdown. You know, we like to throw something big every time at state. 2 years ago, we had the superstar showdown with Bishop and Touye and myself and others. You know, that proved to be a tremendous event. Last year, we had myself versus Ryan Clark and Steve Rao versus Bill Loxton. This year, we're doing you know, the under 200-pound superstar showdown. So. Cool. That's going to be in itself huge. And we got a couple of good sponsors, threw a bunch of money out there, which we're able to get some major names like your Todd Hutchings, your Bill Logsden, your Greg Robinson Jr., Joe Hudick, Brent Rockers. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing Brent Rockers and Todd Hutchings pull. I haven't seen them pull before. I don't know if they've ever pulled before. So
that's an interesting match.
Rockers is an absolute animal.
So. What's the date?
So, I mean, Rockers is... His hand is iron. It's February 17th, so it's only a couple of weeks away. You know, so you know, just that event alone, the Superstar Showdown, it begins at 1 o'clock, and the Superstar Showdown usually lasts an hour to an hour and a half. Yeah. And it's an absolute hour to hour and a half of chaos with the DJ playing the music, and the place, the venue is just prime, to say the least. It's prime venue, so looking forward to it. Midwest Restoration, got to throw them out. You know, the Coin Gray, super talented, gifted guy in the sport of arm wrestling. He doesn't get around much because he's working a lot, but he's a monster, and he owns Midwest Restoration. He's a huge sponsor to this event, so I'm going to throw that out there. But yeah, weight classes at 0 to 165, 166 to 195, and then to 225, and then obviously your heavyweights. We got female classes 0 to 150 and 151 and up. And we got kids divisions. We have masters. So everything you can think of and under the sun. We also got Hampton Inn, which is obviously a more renowned hotel, sponsoring it as well. So you can get your rooms for $99 a night,
nice,
which is dirt cheap. And we also have the after party too, which the after party, believe it or not, is right next door to the hotel. So you don't have to drive in a place you're not familiar with. You go to the after party, you get drunk, you do a bunch of pulling, you wake up the next day, you wish you didn't have to, but at least you didn't have to drive.
Keep everybody safe. That's good.
That's really cool. Are you guys using WAF rules?
Keep everybody safe. We're using our own rules.
Okay.
We're using our own rules, and I've gotten feedback from multiple different people to what the fans want. So it's a mixture of WAF, a little bit of WAL, not a whole lot. And, you know, I'm not really familiar. I actually had to contact Josh Hanlon. He had mentioned some things to me, and, you know, I wasn't really familiar with the WAF because I've been stuck, you know, I've been with the UAL for a couple of years. Then I was with the WAL for a few years. So I kind of lost touch. I lost the base with them. I didn't really know the rules anymore. So I got in contact with Josh Hanlon. He helped me out with that a little bit. And, you know, we kind of came to an agreement on what we think would be best, not only for the event, but for the competitor as well. So it's going to be a 20-second get your own grip. After 20 seconds, you know, the referee's grip sets in place. Now, I did set the WAL ref's grip just because it's faster and it's more lenient. I feel that it's more lenient on the puller. The 3 foul rules I like because I hate seeing people foul out. I loved when I went to Worlds, but 80% of the matches are ended in fouls, and I hated that. You know, when you got 2 guys grueling it out on the table, you want to see who wins, not who fouls out. And it drives me nuts. It drives a lot of people nuts. But, you know, ultimately, in the end, yeah, the person that falls out loses. That's the rule. That's the way it is. But I still want to see who pins who pins who. You know, so the 3 foul rules, you know, so slip goes right into the strap no matter where on the table. You know, that's going to benefit some, hurt some. But at least, you know, it's going to be, okay, you know the rule. If you slip and if you can't hold on to your opponent and he's just above that pad, it's still going to the strap. It don't matter. So
very cool.
So what
you guys going to be...
what about you, John? Are you coming to the tournament?
You know, I might try.
John, are you coming to the tournament? You're right next door.
Yeah, I can't pull. Unfortunately, my shoulder's still in a position where I can't even hold on to the peg correctly to arm wrestle with my other hand. So, yeah, I might try to carpool.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Because I carpooled out to North Dakota and just basically
Well,
hung
I'll tell you
out,
what,
and it was pretty fun.
Right. Tell you what, we are looking for another ref for the Superstar Showdown. Obviously, you would get paid, so we want good refs. You know, we don't want to pick somebody from the crowd, not with somebody of this caliber. You know, so
you got his attention now.
You can't joyride with somebody else, and we'd be happy to. Yeah, you know, money talks, right?
No, yeah, we can definitely talk about it though. Sure.
Good refs. We need one ref. Yeah, we got 3 of our referees competing in the Superstar Showdown. So obviously a referee can't compete. You know,
gotcha.
That'd be correct. So yeah, we got 3 right now. We're gonna have 2 tables running, and we're still looking for a third. And I know you've done a lot of reffing in the past, so
sure.
You know, so it's I know you'd be fair either way. Whether it be Hutchings, myself, Logs In, Rockers, Hudick, it don't matter. You're gonna be a part of it, or do good with it. And I don't know. You guys ever heard of Gabe White?
Yes, Gabe. He's at Michigan, right?
Are you familiar with Gabe White? Yeah, that kid is a beast.
Yeah.
You know, that guy's crazy strong. He was in that Superstar Showdown or the over round robin at Michigan State when I went there, and wow. He hooks up to me. His side pressure is relentless, strong as an ox. And if I wouldn't have pinned him right away, he probably would have came back and beat me. He's a newcomer to the Superstar Showdown. He just came up, so I know he's been training hard, and he's. I'm looking forward to seeing him pull some of these guys as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, Gabe is very, very strong. He's very talented. Very.
Are you going to be live streaming that?
Super nice guy too.
Are you going to be live streaming the special event?
Well, we won't be. I mean, I personally will not be, and a reason being, just out of respect for Joseph Drellick, who is going to be filming the event for his MBK production. So I'm not personally going to be live streaming it, but obviously I can't stop anybody from in there from doing it. So if there's somebody in the stands that wants to do it, I can't stop them. Yeah. But we personally, as Wisconsin Arm Wrestling, as an organization, are not going to be doing it due to obvious respect reasons.
Joe does a good job.
To him for coming in and filming and putting it up there. Yeah, he does an amazing job, and I ask him to do it every year. So, and I try to take care of him correctly, you know, like he should be. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the event. You know, every year I get all excited for it, and then the week before I get all crazy about it and pissed off.
Of course.
And you start pulling your hair out.
Yeah.
You know, and I told myself after the last Superstar Showdown, I'm not doing it again. And here I am doing it again. You know, so it's maybe it's the addicting part of it. So, what have you guys heard about the WAL? I'm curious because I ain't on the scoop about it, but I'm curious.
Basically, a small number of WAL pullers have gotten phone calls from Steve Kaplan saying that there's a large non-sports related television network that is backing them financially and that they're going to come back with a super match format. We've reached out to the people we know in WAL to try to get some confirmation. I haven't heard a single word from them, but that's what people have told me after talking to them, so that's all I know.
So very good. Yeah, like I said, it'd be good for the sport. It's my opinion. Others have other opinions, but good for the sport all around to promote the sport. Because if you can't be on television, and you know what, there's some people that would rather keep it small. But you gotta, you know, the way I see it is, no matter how big arm wrestling gets, if it becomes like the NFL one day or something like that, no matter how big it gets, you're still going to have your small organizations.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
It's always going to be in a smaller level. You know, but you're only going to have those so-called elites like you have in the NFL and the MLB and the soccer and the tennis and your elites in the basketball and playing in those leagues. And you're always going to have the, you know, the smaller, you know, backyard leagues per se that are usually the most fun.
No, for sure.
I was talking to Josh Hanlon here about a week ago about I missed having fun. You know, it became work. You know, but. You know, like I said, it's treated me well, so I can't. That work for me was very worth it.
Oh, for sure, man, no doubt about it. And definitely, you know, thanks for coming on the show. Hopefully, I'll be there. That'd be great. That lineup that's a hell of a lineup for a round robin. I can't wait to in
That's
any
gonna be
form,
amazing.
see how that goes. Because, you know, Brent Rockers, Todd Hutchings, you know, Brent's a guy who's kind of been in and out for a little while now, but that guy is so dangerous to anybody. That's a super exciting lineup you got going there. Congrats on that.
Well done.
Right. He's got such a weird style, you know, and if you're not used to pulling against him, like you know, for instance, me and when I pulled what's his name, like Ryan Clark last year, Ryan Clark beat me, but yet Brent Rockers destroyed Ryan Clark during the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, styles, as you all know, makes such a big.
They really do.
You know, so I'm interested, like I said, to see Brent Rockers pull out of all the matches, out of all the people that are going to be there that day. I want to see that match. And you still got your Gabe White, Steve Baldwin, Mickey Motto, Tim Thomas, Sam Tabor. Sam's coming on strong. Your Joe Hudick, he never seems to let anybody down. He always ends up being in the top five.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, Bill Logsdon. You know, last time Bill and Todd pulled, they had a hell of a match. So you know, I'm looking forward to it. And all it takes is, obviously Todd's a favorite. But all it takes is one long match, just one long match.
Very true.
And Todd's done, you know. But that goes the same for everybody else too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, but yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Anytime, man. Anytime. It's going to be a great event. I wish I could be there. All right. Well, good luck.
Well,
and I look forward to seeing the video. Yeah, jump on a plane. That's what I should. All right, brother.
All I
Sounds good.
All right, everybody.
Cool, man.
We're all peacing out.
All right.
Later,
all
man.
Right. Good night, people.
See ya.
Later.